Hey YouTube, this is Michael from Weez Into Snakes, and I've been spending the day-to-day feeding some of the snakes, and I've also been out in the rat shack, or as I call it, the snake snack shack. So we have our rodents out there, and I was just thinking about the fact that we've had kind of a rough year with raising our rodents, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the actual cost of feeding the ball pythons and so forth. A lot of people, when you get a snake, or if you're thinking about getting maybe not as many snakes as I have, but getting a collection of snakes, you don't think about how much it's going to cost to actually feed those snakes and take care of those snakes. So I won't get into the fact that our electricity bill went way up because of the heat, and that kind of thing, or you talking about substrate and all that kind of stuff. We'll just strictly talk about taking care of the rats and feeding the ball pythons. So on average in this area, a small to medium rat, depending on the size of your ball python. We're going to talk about adult ball pythons or sub-adult ball pythons. They're usually going to eat a small or a medium rat. I do have some that will take a large rat, but roughly the average cost of one of those rats is about $3 each when you go to one of the pet stores or something like that. So if you have one snake, you're spending like $3 a week. I feed weekly, but you're feeding $3 a week. That's no big deal. But if you have 20 and then you're spending $60 a week feeding those 20 snakes, and then that's $240 a month that you're looking at. And I don't think some people think about that when they start building their collection. They're just thinking, oh, it's just $3 for a rat, but all that adds up. So we did actually have an issue with getting rats, so we decided we were going to start breeding our own. That does cut the cost way down as far as each rat itself, because we're raising them on our own. But it's still kind of expensive when you take into consideration you're cleaning rat tubs every week. You're buying bedding, and you're buying food. And I don't have a large number of colonies of rats. I have basically, at one time I had enough that I was being able to produce what I needed, and then also what I could sell the extras to help offset the bedding and the food and that kind of stuff. I'm spending as much as $300 a month on just food to feed the rats. But when you take into consideration that's $300 a month I'm paying for rat food, and I'm feeding almost 200 snakes. So that's a lot cheaper than $3 a rat, and spending that kind of money every week buying rats. Now we did have an issue this summer, which was kind of a major setback for us, because we had our air conditioner. We have an air conditioner in our snake snack shack, and it malfunctioned. And when it malfunctioned, the temperature in the snake snack shack snake snack shack. Boy, it went way up. And when it did, I lost most of my breeders. So I have been struggling to get back to the point where I can produce enough rats to actually feed all my ball pythons. Because when you're going through it, you'll actually have, turn on the TV in the background. It's kind of distracting me. So you'll actually have to the point where I'm getting enough rat pups to feed the hatchlings, but if I'm feeding all the hatchlings, then I'm not growing up enough to feed the juveniles and adults. So I had to go back to the point where I was buying some rats to try to get caught up, and that's been 3 or 4 months now that I've been doing that. So we're slowly getting back to where we need to be. And then you also got the situation where if you're raising rats, some of the ball pythons just will not take a rat. So then you have to have mice. So then you got colonies of mice that you have to be breeding and raising and so forth. So you get into a cycle where it's really not that inexpensive to take care of them. Like I said, we cut way back on our expenses for feeding by raising our own. But then when we had that situation over the summertime where we lost a lot of our breeders, it really put a hurt on us. Luckily, with the what we were doing was we were taking rats that we weren't being able to sell. In other words, if our excess, we were taking those and we were euthanizing them and we were freezing them. So we have a freezer full of rats out there, and we can take those. And normally what I have to do is get them to the point. I'll bring live rats into the room and in the tub, and I'll get that aroma and smell in the room. And we'll take the frozen rats and we'll thaw them out and put them in warm water so they get warm, not hot, but warm. And that the scent of the live rats and everything else in the room will fire up the adults and stuff like that. So they'll take a frozen thaw with no problem at all. So that's one thing. If you are having an issue with your ball pythons taking frozen thawed, or you're trying to switch them over to frozen thawed, that's one trick that we kind of learned to do that helps them get them fired up and eaten. But so I just wanted to touch a little bit on that, on the fact that people think ball pythons, they're only once a week, and that kind of, and they're kind of inexpensive to take care of, but they're really not. I mean, they're not a huge amount of cost, but they're not like cheap either. So, but anyway, like I said, I'm spending probably about let's see, I'm probably spending about $500 a month, if not a little bit more, just to raise rats, and that's not counting all my time that I put in out in the Snake Snack Shack to clean rats and get them fed and make sure they have water and all that kind of stuff. That's a daily thing, going out there. So it's if you have the time, I mean, absolutely raise your own rats, and you can save quite a bit of money, but you're going to lose quite a bit of your extra time. So you got to kind of weigh that out. And this time of year with the job I have, I don't have a lot of extra time, so it really cuts into anything else I'm going to do this time of year, because I'm taking care of rats, taking care of snakes, and everything else. So, but anyway, I just want to talk a little bit about about that, as far as the rats, raising rats and feeding, and the expense that goes along with it. So if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer questions. Just comment below and I'll get back with you. I've been feeding some of these today. I would actually pull some snakes out and show you some snakes, but like I said, I've been out in the Snake Snack Shack almost all day, so I smell like rats. And I open one of these tubs, and they're gonna think I'm a giant rat and try to bite me. So I'm gonna leave them alone for right now. So, but anyway, I appreciate you watching the video. I'm gonna probably talk about more of these type of things coming in the future. A lot of people don't talk about the cost of it, but basically, if you enjoy it, if it's something you like to do, everybody has a hobby, and I can guarantee you, I mean, I have a Jeep, and that hobby was a lot more expensive than this hobby is. And so, I mean, it's, as far as hobbies go, it's not it's not that expensive. I know there's a lot more hobbies out there that are way more expensive than this, and this is kind of relaxing. I like getting in here with the snakes. I actually like taking care of the rats and that kind of thing. I do have my I have my favorites out there that I'll go out and I'll hold and pet and everything else. So they'll never get fed off. They're just kind of my breeders that I'm going to hold on to. But anyway, enjoy it, and if you can afford it, make sure you can afford it. Then enjoy what you're doing, and treat it like it's a hobby. Treat it like, you know, it's an expense that you're going to enjoy. If you're into it and you're putting all this effort into it and you're trying to make money, it's going to get old quick. So don't let the focus be the money. Have the focus be enjoying your time and what you're doing. So anyway, thank you for watching the video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell so you get notifications with our next upload on our videos. And again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.